Hey guys, this is Jason. I'm reviewing Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Fowl, directed by Nick Park and Merlin Crossingham. It is a sequel to one of the Wallace and Gromit shorts, The Wrong Trousers. In this film, Wallace builds a gnome that's supposed to help make his garden look better and make the whole town look better. And that gets Gromit both concerned and jealous at the same time because he's seeing Wallace be more dependent on his inventions and getting jealous for the gnome taking his place. But soon that gnome gets a mind of its own and frames Wallace for doing some terrible damage to this town, and Gromit has to be the one to figure out what's causing this gnome to do that. And a lot of that is caused by the villain of this film, Feathers McGraw. Yes, he's a penguin with a red rubber glove on his head, and if you've seen The Wrong Trousers, then you know who that character is, and why he's a huge threat for Wallace and Gromit. Plus, it mixes well with the charm that the shorts and the first film had, so it still definitely gives more of that fun and energy to the story. Guys, I'm a fan of Wallace and Gromit. There have been some really good shorts with them made by Aardman. They definitely got a lot of charm, they are very funny, the animation is fantastic, and they definitely have a lot of great action sequences. And of course, I love the first film they released back in 2005, Curse of the Were-Rabbit. That is still a really fun watch to this day. I recommend it to both fans of Wallace and Gromit and non-fans as well, because this film does make a good introduction to how you would learn about Wallace and Gromit. And watching all the shorts and the film are just a fun time where you see Wallace be the inventor that invents things that he thinks are going to be great, but then later on turn out to be really bad for him. And his dog Gromit is the smart one and has to get Wallace out of a terrible situation that he gets himself stuck in. And that duo is a lot of fun to see on screen, where you see how they work as the duo, and you see that they give a lot of heart to both the shorts and the first film. And now we have their second feature film, Vengeance Most Fowl, which is not a sequel to Curse of the Were-Rabbit. This is a sequel to their short, The Wrong Trousers, where that short was about Wallace getting Gromit robotic trousers for his birthday, and then the penguin known as Feathers McGraw comes in, who of course was the main villain in that short. And I'm happy to say that this is a really good movie that still understands what Wallace and Gromit is supposed to be. This is a very silly movie that is very self-aware and gives the audience a fun time to watch thanks to the humor, the story, and its characters. And with the animation as well, and Aardman hardly disappoints when it comes to their animation, where you definitely see all the hard work that's done on the character models and the backgrounds, the way the characters move, the lighting that they have to use for a certain scene that's supposed to be suspenseful, and it also helps with some of the action and the suspense, like in one scene where Gromit is following the gnome to the cellar, and the lighting and the way they animate this whole scene definitely builds up to the tension throughout the film. And what also helps make it a highlight is with the action sequences, making them feel intense and fun to watch, and they definitely keep your attention, especially in the third act, which no spoilers of course. But when you see this whole action scene happen in the third act, it's very suspenseful and has some really good humor as well. And that's what made the shorts and the first film a lot of fun, having great action sequences, the charm, and really good comedy, especially the comedy, which gratefully this film has a right balance of using the comedy, where it doesn't take itself too seriously and it doesn't go over the top and too much with its silly humor. It finds the right way to balance it while having a great action scene, while also having a moment that is supposed to be funny. And every part of the humor in this film made me laugh quite a bit. In particular, there's this one moment regarding a character that had me laughing when it had a certain twist revealed, because there's a character in this film that did something heroic, and this character likes to talk about it a lot, but when we get to the third act, a big twist relating to that character happened, and when that twist was revealed, making you think more about what happened in the rest of the film and in The Wrong Trousers, I was laughing. Like, it was really that ridiculous. And I mean that in a good way, because this is supposed to be like a big moment a character is proud for, but it was relating to something that none of the other characters realized before. Like, I would love to talk about this part, but I can't because it's a big spoiler and I don't want to ruin the movie for you. But then there's the main plot of the story where Wallace is making this gnome help cut all the gardens and making them look better, and that unfortunately gets Gromit jealous because this gnome is taking more of his place, and that's making Wallace take notice of this gnome more than Gromit. But when Gromit learns more about what's going on with this gnome and later finds out that Feather McGraw is the one behind all of this and frames Wallace for doing terrible things to the town, and that causes Gromit to try to figure out to not only prove Wallace's innocence, but also try to tell him that this gnome problem isn't working out. But it's hard for Gromit to do that because he's a dog and he can't talk, despite the fact that he can walk and think like a human. But what does help Gromit is just with his facial expressions on his eyes and his body movement. And that's what makes Gromit a great character, where you understand what he's saying just from his eyes and his body movement, where he has to do everything to help Wallace whenever he's in a bad situation. And that's what made the shorts and the first film have a lot of charm, where you definitely buy into their friendship. Now, my only issue with this film is that there are times where it feels like it's copying some of the shorts and the first film, not just with some of the Easter eggs and the cameos, which were still pretty fun to see, but there are some parts in the story that did feel like they were copying like some of the shorts. Like, there's this new character that comes in that gets Wallace's attention more, but it causes Gromit to get jealous and take the spotlight more, leading to some big problems and twists that Gromit figures out on his own, and he has to be the one to stop it. All that stuff is noticeable, and you do see the similarities, but they don't ruin the fun. This film still feels original, regardless of some of the similarities. I am happy to say that Wallace and Gromit Vengeance Most Fowl is another great Wallace and Gromit film. It still understands the self-aware humor and the comedy, and it still has great action sequences, really good animation, and the charm from its two main leads. And it has an engaging story that keeps you on the edge of your seat while also having a good laugh. If you love Wallace and Gromit, I strongly recommend watching this film, but if you're not, I do recommend watching The Wrong Trousers first and then getting to this film. That way you have more of an idea of who Wallace and Gromit are. I'm gonna give Wallace and Gromit Vengeance Most Fowl an A. So guys, if you have seen Wallace and Gromit Vengeance Most Fowl, what did you think about it? Do you think it's as good as Curse of the Were-Rabbit, or do you think that this film is not very good? Let me know in the comments below. Also, are you a fan of Wallace and Gromit, or is it not really your thing? Let me know that in the comments below as well. And as always, if you like this video, then please leave a like and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss a thing, because it helps my channel grow. Hit the notification bell so you know what other videos I'm posting. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.